I can't believe I'm saying this, but 2023 is almost over. We're in the final quarter of the year, and before we know it, 2024 will be here. While we still have over 2 months before the new year, the time to start planning next year's goals is right now. Waiting until the last minute to plan your goals opens the door for you to set unrealistic expectations, fail to properly plan your strategies, or worse, avoid goal setting altogether. I always set my New Year's goals in October, and it gives me enough time to reflect, assess, and set goals that matter to me. In this episode, I'm sharing why you need to start planning your New Year's goals ahead of time, and I'm walking you through my goal setting strategy. Here's to setting goals that inspire us. Welcome to the City Girl Savings Podcast. I'm Raya Reeves, founder and finance coach of City Girl Savings. I turned my life around with budgeting many years ago, and now I'm on a mission to help others do the same. I fully believe that you can enjoy your life on a budget, and this weekly show will focus on the intersection of money and the city girl lifestyle. Join me every week along with some special guests as I share my experiences, advice, and guidance on navigating life and money as an experience-loving millennial. Now, before we dive in, I want to share how important goal setting is. Whether you are setting goals for your finances, your health, your career, your business, or any other area of life, doing so is critical to your personal and professional development. The ability to set goals and then work towards achieving those goals is what life is all about, in my opinion. Striving to obtain new things, new levels, things you've never had, being disciplined with your actions to get to a new level, and seeing the success from your hard work and your efforts is such an amazing feeling. In episode 50, you may remember I walked through some goal ideas that can help you make the most of your life in the new year, in the future. I want you to go back and listen to that episode. I will link to it in the show notes. But one big point from that episode was the results of a Harvard business study that was done on setting goals. And I shared it in that episode, but I'm going to share it today too, because it is so impactful. So this Harvard business study found that 83% of the population does not have goals. So 83% of the population didn't set goals, didn't think about goals, didn't have goals. 14% of the population have a plan in mind, but the goals aren't written down. So they have an idea of what they want to do in terms of goals, but the goals are not written. They are not finalized. And then 3%, the remaining 3% of the population had goals that were actually written down. So part one. Part two, the study found that the 14% of the population who had goals but didn't have them written down, so the goals were kind of in their mind, they were 10 times more successful than those who didn't have goals, period. But what's even crazier is the 3% of the population with the goals that were actually written down and finalized were 3 times more successful than the 14% with the unwritten goals. Okay, so that is triple times the success just for having goals, but even more success for having those goals written down. So if you do not believe in the power of setting goals, or if you didn't before I just shared that study with you, I hope that now you are a believer. For me personally, I have been setting goals and resolutions for myself and my business for as long as I can remember. Even in college, I would set New Year's goals and resolutions. It's so funny. I found a note. It was from 2009. It was 2009 New Year's goals. And it had some goals or resolutions that I had for the new year. And I chuckled because some of the things that were on that list are just so fitting for a 21-year-old. I have always been a motivated person. Setting goals is just right up my alley. There are always things that I was working to obtain. And even if you aren't as disciplined, or if you find yourself being a little bit more go with the flow or spontaneous, setting goals can be powerful to help you work hard towards something. Like whatever that something is up to you, but something that matters, you can actually work towards. Now, I'm not saying don't be content. Don't be satisfied with where you're at. Don't forget to be grateful for where you're at, but never stop reaching for what you really want. Now, because I've had more experience with setting goals, I can usually pinpoint when a goal is too unrealistic or will be too unrealistic for me. Now, if you follow the SMART criteria when setting goals, and you may remember that the SMART criteria is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time specific. When you follow, or if you follow that criteria, you will know that unrealistic goals are not good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is wonderful to dream big, but not so much to the point where when you're setting a goal, you can't actually achieve it, right? If you set a goal that is too unattainable, too unrealistic, you're not going to feel the oomph and the momentum and the pride that comes with working towards something that you actually can accomplish. Now, nothing is saying that you shouldn't dream big and shoot for the moon and you land amongst the stars, right? But in terms of actually setting goals, there is something beneficial about achieving goals, right? So even if your true end goal is way further out, you can set milestone goals to help you move in that direction. So if you're anything like me, you have a lot of things you want to accomplish, and there's nothing wrong with this. But when you have too many things taking your time and focus, it's easy for all of the things to fall by the wayside, right? It's like you're spinning 10 plates and you're giving 10% energy to each of the 10 plates. You are, one, running the risk of prolonging reaching any of the goals, right? Number one. Number two, you run the risk of a plate dropping and then everything crashing. So if you set too many goals for yourself than you have time or energy to work for, you may not end up actually reaching those goals. Then you may be wondering, okay, Raya, well, what's the magic number of goals I should have for my finances, my health, my career, my business, or any other area of my life? I recommend keeping it to one or two in each area, right? Because we can focus on different areas. We can't focus on all the things in each area, right? So one or two in each area, and then just make sure that those goals are realistic for you. Now, I think this is separate from any business or company goals you have. So if you're a business owner listening to this, your personal goals are separate from your business goals. The business is a body of its own, so it needs its own goals and respective goal categories. Okay, so I've talked about the importance of setting goals, some things to keep in mind when you're actually setting your goals, but now I really want to get into the why behind setting goals in advance, right? So why should you start planning next year's goals now in October? So I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why you should plan your next year's goals right now. Got a money question you want me to answer on the podcast? I'm starting a new segment on the show called City Girl Solutions, where I answer any questions you have for me. Money, business, life, you name it. Submit your questions at citygirlsavings.com/QA and get your question answered by me in a future episode. And did you know that we have so many free money resources on our blog, Instagram, and TikTok channels? Find us across the internet at City Girl Savings. Okay, the first reason why you should start planning your next year's goals right now is when you plan your next year's goals a month or 2 in advance, it actually gives you time to think through the actions you need to take and the to-do tasks that you'll need to implement to reach the goal before the new year starts, right? Like, don't wait until January 1st to say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. What do I need to do? If you start planning your goals now, you can literally start taking action on January 1st. So having those action steps ready to help you reach your goal when the new year starts is going to set you up with much more momentum than just waiting until the new year and thinking about what you should do next. The next reason is the earlier you think about what you want to achieve in the next year, the more time you have to prioritize your goals and focus and pinpoint on the things that are most important to reaching those goals. So when you set your goals early, you have time to give them thought and make sure they're aligned with the ultimate vision for your life. You have time to decide if the goal is worth working towards. Is it in line with your values and what you ultimately see for yourself? If not, now you have time to think about different goals or new goals to set. You're not waiting until the new year, realizing your goals aren't really what you want, and then now you have to go back to the drawing board. And then finally, poor planning usually leads to poor performance. And this applies to goal setting, but it also applies to just about any other area of life, right? Giving yourself ample time to plan, write, and execute before it's actually time to start working on your goals is a true recipe for success. You can go into the new year knowing exactly what you need to do or what you should do so that you can reach these goals. So do not procrastinate. Do not wait until the last minute to set your goals. I challenge you to make goal setting a fun part of your year's fourth quarter by getting a cute planner or calendar, writing out your dream life, imagining yourself 5 years from now and where you want to be, and even creating a vision board. I feel like all of these things will help keep you working towards your goals during the year, right? So for me, I love a fresh start. I love starting the new year. I feel so much momentum. I know what I'm working towards. It's all gravy, baby. But, come April, May, it's, the day-to-day grind has officially set in. So having things remind me what I'm working towards really keeps the juices flowing. You, me, we also need that constant reminder to keep fighting through. For my personal goals, I actually have them written down on a dry erase board in my office. And as part of my morning journaling routine, I actually type them out. So I am always doing things to keep my personal goals like front and center so I don't lose sight of them. And I do the same for my business goals. For my business goals, I actually keep them in Asana and in my OneNote. So I use OneNote every day. I have a daily to-do template, and part of that template is my business goals. So I always know what I'm working towards. All right. So we have talked about the importance of goal setting, why you should plan your goals early. Now I want to leave you with my goal setting strategy. So first, I'm going to walk you through what the strategy is, and then I'm going to share 2 different examples of that strategy in terms of goals. So you're going to get the strategy, then you're going to get 2 examples so that you can make sure you understand. And then hopefully you can use the strategy or something similar to set your goals for the new year. So the goal strategy is this. Think about what you want to achieve in the next year. So what you want to achieve for 2024. Focusing on 2 to 4 main goals for your personal development and 2 to 4 main goals for your business. So keep in mind, we don't want to overdo it. 2 to 4 main goals for personal, 2 to 4 main goals for your business. And remember, the more goals you set, the more you run the risk of focusing on too many things that never get achieved. So focus on the most important things. But once you have those 2 to 4 main goals set, I want you to break those 2 to 4 main goals down into 90-day milestones. So that means 1 major milestone per quarter to help you achieve that main goal. From there, break that 90-day milestone or that quarterly milestone into daily, weekly, or monthly tasks and to-dos. And then track the daily and weekly tasks and to-dos to ensure that you're completing them. Okay, so we start high level with the main goal for the year. We break that goal down into 90-day milestones. One major milestone per quarter is ideal. We break that major milestone down into daily, weekly, or monthly tasks and to-dos. And then we track our progress for the daily and weekly tasks and to-dos to make sure we're actually doing them. So let's put this strategy to work. Here's an example. Let's say your primary goal for 2024 is to save $5,000. So to save $5,000 for the entire year, break that down into quarterly milestones. That means $1,250, so $1,250 saved per quarter. $1,250 saved per quarter means saving about $417 a month. And if we break that monthly savings number down, we can save that through a few different ways each day, week, or month, right? We can decide we are not going to go out to eat for a quarter to make sure we have this $417 saved. We can pick up a small part-time job to earn extra money to get that $417 a month and have the $1,250 per quarter. We can create or adjust our budget to account for this extra savings. So as you can see, we had that primary goal, $5,000 for the year, broken down into quarterly milestones. So $1,250 per quarter. Break that down into daily, weekly, or monthly tasks or items. So $1,250 per quarter is $417 a month. Now we need to figure out, how can I save $417 a month? And that's where you go to your budget and say, I won't eat out, or I'll work extra hours. I will save less somewhere else so I can save for this. So that's one example. Let's look at another example. Let's say the primary goal for 2024 is to get a promotion or a new job. So to achieve this goal, you'll need to talk to your manager about promotion opportunities or start a job search. Your first milestone, your quarter one milestone, could be to have a one-on-one meeting with your manager to discuss the promotion opportunities and what you can do to be considered. And depending on how that meeting goes, you'll know if you need to start a new job search or not. Now, assuming that you're gunning for the promotion, you can map out the things your manager suggested you work on to be considered. So if they said, bring on 6 more clients in 3 months, your goal would be 2 clients per month. And this can be done through asking for leads and referrals, searching through relevant platforms, or cold calling. So as you see, we have that big annual goal of get a promotion or a new job. And then we're breaking that goal down into quarterly milestones. So quarterly milestone, talk to your manager about promotion opportunities or start a job search. From there, we can break those milestones down even further. And if you had the meeting with your manager and you know what steps you need to take, that can be your daily, weekly, monthly tasks and to-dos. So as you can see, taking a big goal and breaking it down into smaller bite-sized chunks will help you avoid feeling overwhelmed and working on the day-to-day things that get you closer to reaching that goal. So when you know you have small steps you can take, it doesn't feel so heavy and drastic and, oh my gosh, how am I going to reach this goal? Now, I don't think it matters what area you want to focus on, right, when it comes to your goals, but it does matter how well you plan those goals. So don't be the person that doesn't hold themselves accountable. When you make the decision to focus on a particular goal or milestone, keep working until you achieve it. Maybe the timing isn't 100% right with your goals. I've been there. Trust me, I get it. But that doesn't mean you should give up. Just learn and tweak for the next year. It's like that saying, and I mentioned it before, shoot for the moon and you'll land in the stars. So strive for the goal, and whether you hit it or not, you will be closer to where you want to be. I hope this episode inspired you to start thinking about your next year's goals now. And I say happy goal setting, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to City Girl Savings today. I hope you feel empowered and inspired to master your money as you make your way to your dream life. Make sure you subscribe so you're the first to know when a new episode comes out. I truly value your thoughts and feedback, so please leave a review and let me know how this podcast has impacted you. Can't wait to chat soon and make it a great day.